This is the QTV Nightly News and I am Jul Denjai. Thank you for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. On the occasion of the International Day for Combating Islamophobia on March 15, President Adama Barrow, chairman of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, stated that Islam is a religion of peace, compassion and beauty. Now, lawmakers at the National Assembly have questioned the Minister of Defense, Sering Modunjai, about the implementation of a court ruling declaring the dismissal of former Gambia Armed Forces Corporal Omar Sadio unconstitutional. At the ongoing 69th session of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women in New York, the Gambia hosted a side event focused on addressing sexual and gender-based violence. On Saturday, the Consumer Protection Consortium of the Gambia, along with its partners, joined the global community in celebrating World Consumer Rights Day. Now, the Westminster Foundation for Democracy held a validation forum on environmental democracy on Friday to evaluate the gaps and challenges in Gambia's current environmental legislation and discuss the potential for a climate act. These and other stories coming ahead. Do stay with us. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, this is the QTV Nightly News. Now, on the occasion of the International Day for Combating Islamophobia on March 15th, President Adama Barrow, chairman of the Organization of the Islamic Cooperation, stated that Islam is a religion of peace, compassion and beauty. Babukar Sise tells us more.
Islamophobia, which refers to the irrational fear, hatred or prejudice against Islam and Muslims, has led to various social, political and economic challenges for Muslim communities worldwide. The United Nations General Assembly, with support from 60 member states of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation (OIC, passed a resolution designating March 15th as the International Day to Combat Islamophobia. The resolution emphasizes that terrorism and violent extremism should never be linked to any religion, nationality, civilization, or ethnic group. It advocates for a global dialogue that fosters a culture of tolerance and peace, grounded in respect for human rights and the diversity of religions and beliefs. Here is the message from the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres on the commemoration of the day.
As Muslims around the world come together to mark the holy months of Ramadan, many do so in fear of discrimination, exclusion and even violence. We are witnessing a disturbing rise in anti-Muslim bigotry, from racial profiling and discriminatory policies that violate human rights and dignity to outright violence against individuals and places of worship. This is part of a wider scourge of intolerance, extremist ideologies, and attacks against religious groups and vulnerable populations. When one group is attacked, the rights and freedoms of all are at risk. As a global community, we must reject and eradicate bigotry. Governments must foster social cohesion and protect religious freedom. Online platforms must curb hate speech and harassment. And we must all speak out against bigotry, xenophobia and discrimination. On this International Day to combat Islamophobia, let us work together to uphold equality, human rights and dignity, and build inclusive societies where everyone, regardless of their faith, can live in peace and harmony.
President Adama Barrow, the chairman of the OIC, stated that despite the shared universal values that unites us, many individuals continue to face discrimination, violence, and exclusion solely due to their faith. He emphasized that such actions undermine the principles of justice, freedom, and human dignity that all nations are obligated to uphold. The OIC chairman further stated that Islamophobia divides societies, fosters hostility, and threatens the harmony we aim to build in an increasingly interconnected world. Governments worldwide have taken proactive steps to address Islamophobia through the implementation of anti-hate crime laws and measures that aimed at preventing and prosecuting hate crimes. Additionally, they have launched public awareness campaigns to challenge negative stereotypes and misconceptions about Muslims and Islam. Babukar Sise, QTV News.
Now, the Minister of Defense, Sering Modunjai, recently informed lawmakers at the National Assembly that the High Court's ruling, which deemed the dismissal of former Gambia Armed Forces Corporal Omar Sajo unconstitutional, is declaratory, not executory. Usman Jatta has the details.
Corporal Omar Sajo was dismissed from the Gambia Armed Forces in 2017 following allegations questioning his Gambian citizenship. The GAF conducted an investigation into his nationality, but Sajo challenged these allegations, asserting his Gambian citizenship and denying any claims that he had ever returned to the southern region of Senegal. There were also allegations that Corporal Sajo is the son of Salif Sajo, leader of the Movement of Democratic Forces of Casamance. However, both Corporal Sajo and the separatist leader vehemently denied these claims. In response, the Gambia Armed Forces clarified that Corporal Sajo was dismissed in 2017 for falsifying his biographical and academic documents in order to meet the GAF's eligibility requirements. Despite the High Court's ruling in favor of Corporal Sajo, the government remains hesitant to enforce the decision. Honorable Keba T. Sane, Nam for Fonyi Jarol, called on Defense Minister Sering Modunjai to provide Parliament with an update on the status of engagements with the former GAF corporal.
The lawyer representing Lance Corporal Omar Sajo was asked to engage with the CDS. And I think the lawyer is currently probably doing that to initiate engagement process regarding Omar Sajo. However, regarding the assertion that the assertion by the honorable member that the ministry failed to implement the High Court judgment, let me also clarify that the ministry was never served with this said judgment. Furthermore, based on the legal advice from the Ministry of Justice, this judgment was a declaratory judgment and was not an executory.
Honorable Sane asks a follow-up question to Minister Njai.
I think the High Court is the final judgment, where they have already judged that Omar should be compensated and reinstated back to the military. And then in your last questions and answers, you stated that you are seeking for a legal opinion. And then I started asking, is the legal opinion above the High Court judgment?
What we received was that the judgment from the High Court indicated that the dismissal of the applicant from the Gambia Armed Forces was null and void and no effect.
The Namfo Janjambore, Honorable Omar Jame, expressed dissatisfaction with the response provided by the Defense Minister and subsequently intervened.
It seems you are contradicting yourself for the fact that you said your ministry didn't receive or were not served the judgment. How do you manage to seek a legal opinion on this specific matter?
What I meant by the ministry was not served, it was the Gambia Armed Forces that was served, and not the ministry. And then we requested the judgment from the Gambia Armed Forces and also from his lawyer.
The issues surrounding Corporal Sajo's case have raised additional concerns among some NAMs who questioned the executive's commitment to democracy and its respect for judicial rulings. Osman Jatta reporting for QTV News.
Now, at the ongoing 69th session of the United Nations Commission of the Status of Women in New York, the Gambia hosted a side event addressing challenges and progress in the fight against sexual and gender-based violence. Aliou Cisse tells us more.
The theme of this side event was Review Progress of Program of Action of the Beijing at 30 Declaration, the case study of the experience on the pushback effect of repealing the Women Amendment Act 2015, the journey to ending sexual and gender-based violence. Jointly organized by the Permanent Mission of the Gambia to the UN, the National Assembly of the Gambia, UN Women, UNDP, UNFPA, and UNICEF, this high-level discussion examines the challenges and progress in combating sexual and gender-based violence in the country. Key speakers at this event included Lamin Diba, the Gambia's permanent representative to the UN, Deputy Speaker Sidi S.K. Njai, First Lady Fatimata Baro, and Fatou Kinte, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, who reaffirmed the Gambia's commitment to strengthen legal protection for women and girls.
And today, the convening of this meeting is to tell our story. And for the world to hear our story, we ourselves, we have to tell our story. Madam Moderator, the next step, which is very crucial to sustaining the law, is to ensure that all hands on deck.
And at the time, I thought the responsibility assigned to me by the president was to get the job done. And we had all those, and I told my office to be the national coordinator. And in fact, some people told me I was the commander-in-chief, I was the ground commander while the president was commander-in-chief. We had the Minister of Women Affairs, Fatou Kinte, and our officials, civil society organization, the UNFPA, the ROSAB, who was very committed to the cause. The U.S. Ambassador, Salone Koroma, our deputy, the civil society organization appointed Jaha Dukure to be the liaison person between myself, my office, and them. And of course, we had many others who helped.
The government of the Gambia, in collaboration with development partners and the civil society organizations, have made significant efforts to uphold the law banning FGM in the Gambia, which was enacted through the Women's Amendment Act 2015. This law criminalized FGM, posing penalties of up to 3 years of imprisonment or fines with harsher sentences if practice results in death.
We also created a basket fund where all the support was going into. That is important in the sense that it avoids duplication. And rather, we complement each other's efforts and we work in synergy. Even though when we meet to report on a quarterly basis, some of the NGOs will tell us that they got funding from elsewhere, different from what we have in the basket fund. But we strongly believe if all the money is put in one basket, this facilitates coordination and there will be any duplication.
Participants engaged in a critical review of policy setbacks and the broader impact of legislative changes on the fight against GBV. Stakeholders emphasized the need for a multi-sectoral approach with support from international partners. In a separate event, the First Lady also participated in a side event organized by the Organization of African First Ladies for Development, where women and girls empowerment issues topped the agenda. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The report there by Aliou Cisse will take us to a commercial break. When we return, we have more local news stories for you. To stay with us.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taaw place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal ne fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal baara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taamu gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër baara wërga bii mooy warga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fix internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News, and now to the rest of our stories. On Saturday, the Consumer Protection Consortium of the Gambia joined the global community in observing World Consumer Rights Day. Held annually on March 15th, the day seeks to raise awareness about consumer rights and advocate for stronger protections for consumers across various sectors. Here is Mamjara Kamara.
In collaboration with the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, the Gambia Standards Bureau, and the Gambia Public Utility and Regulatory Authority, World Consumer Rights Day 2025 is being commemorated under the theme A Just Transition to a Sustainable Lifestyle. Here is Alpha Ojalo, President of the Consumer Protection Consortium.
This celebration aims to engage stakeholders, encourage collaboration, and inspire action towards sustainable consumption patterns and consumer protection in the Gambia.
Aissatou Cissé, a representative of the Gambia Standards Bureau, highlighted the importance of regulating product standards and promoting consumer welfare.
It is also a day to raise awareness about consumer protection, safeguarding buyers from unfair market practice, advertising of unsafe goods and products. Every consumer desires fairness, equity, and also transparency. In line with this, the Gambia Standards Bureau has developed standards across the country, along with conformity assessment and mechanism to ensure the quality assurance and quality measurements practice are adhered to.
As this year's theme emphasizes the importance of shifting towards a sustainable living practice that prioritizes environmental conservation, a new theme was adopted, focusing on empowering consumers for a greener tomorrow. Alhaji Sambu is the director of the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission.
We encourage that all aggrieved consumers come to the commission and complain wherever they are aggrieved. And the line that they can call on is 50,033, or you communicate through our info@gcc.gm.
With regards to consumer complaints about price hikes and increased electricity bills, Alpha Ojalo, president of the Consumer Protection Consortium, explained the steps taken in responding to such issues.
Recent bread attempt to increase the price of bread. They did something that was unlawful. And of course, there were other interventions from government and from other regulators. But let me tell you, that was clearly the position of the CPC, and today bread is still at $10.
Mr. Jallo also highlighted the ongoing challenges the Gambia faces with consumer protection issues.
We still continue to struggle in the Gambia with such challenges as limited awareness of sustainable practices, weak enforcement of existing regulations on consumer protection and environmental sustainability. The CPC is soliciting that we affirm our commitment to building a Gambia where sustainable lifestyles are not only possible, but accessible to all.
This year's World Consumer Rights Day highlights the challenges and opportunities in achieving sustainable development and equitable growth, ensuring consumers' rights are protected and enabling easy access to sustainable lifestyles. For QTV News, I am Mamjara Kamara.
On Friday, the Westminster Foundation for Democracy held a validation forum on environmental democracy to assess the gaps and challenges within the current legislation, policies and strategies in the Gambia's environmental sector and discuss the availability of a Climate Act. Here is Mam Nabuka.
This initiative, organized in collaboration with the National Assembly's Environment Committee, brought together a diverse group of stakeholders including legislators, parliamentarians, civil society organizations and environmental experts. to discuss environmental governance in the Gambia and explore its broader implications. The specific sectors and findings that will be looked at and validated during these discussions were collaboratively defined and agreed upon at the launch and subsequent sectoral meetings of the Environmental Democracy Project initiated back in 2024. The workshop aims to present a report to the National Assembly Environment Committee advocating for the creation of a Gambia Climate Act which is currently being developed to address climate change issues in the country. Yaya Gassama, chairman of the Environment Committee, highlights several challenges in implementing effective strategies for addressing environmental issues in the Gambia.
As National Assembly, the challenges that we have are similar to challenges that our colleagues from other countries express. Mainly at committee level, some of these challenges center around capacity building and funding for some of the programs that we want to carry out as National Assembly Committee for Environment.
Tabunjai Sar, the country director of WFD, which provided key support in mitigating some of the challenges mentioned by Gassama, explains the importance of this initiative.
In this room, we have all sectors of the population, and especially our legislatures. And I think their contribution towards this document will be very important, not only to be used by stakeholders in country, but also will attract funding to ensure that climate change is mitigated, because it affects everyone. And WFD will go along with the recommendations that will emerge from this discussion today to ensure that resources are mobilized so that the Gambia will have a climate change act, but will further also hope to implement some of the actions that will be highlighted in this report.
Daniel Cardos, the Deputy Clerk of the Legislative Business and Programs at the National Assembly, reaffirms their commitment to making the forum a productive session.
We are keen to strengthen the gains we had already achieved with all partners, with all stakeholders in this drive. And so be rest assured that we will continue to forge ahead and ensure that whatever we agree at the end of the day, we will come out with an action plan to implement whatever recommendations and suggestions that came out.
The workshop outcomes are expected to guide ongoing efforts to enhance environmental policies, ensuring they are inclusive, transparent, and effective in tackling the country's pressing environmental challenges. Mamna Buka for QTV News.
Now, in celebration of Commonwealth Day, students from upper basic, lower basic and early childhood schools in Farafenni participated in a march past and delivered speeches while dressed in their colorful traditional attire. This report by Don Williams is narrated by Demba Waiba.
The event was a beautiful display of culture, unity and shared values of the Commonwealth. School children marched from Farafenni Police Station to the Farafenni Lower Basic proper, where they gathered to deliver inspiring speeches. The procession, filled with energy and pride, highlighted the students' enthusiasm and commitment to celebrating Commonwealth Day. After the march past, the arrival of the President was warmly greeted by the school children, followed by the rendition of the national anthem. Here is Fatmata Diba, a student at St. John Basic Cycle School, proudly representing Ghana.
Kwame Nkrumah was Ghana's first Prime Minister. In 6 March 1957, Ghana joined the Commonwealth, which was formed in 1931. The head of it was the late Queen Elizabeth, and now the current head of the Commonwealth is Charles III, who was held in the position since September 8, 2022.
Other speakers represented Mauritania and Nigeria, adding to the diversity and the unity celebrated during the Commonwealth Day. Alassane Diop, a student at St. John Basic Cycle School, dressed in a style resembling President Adama Barrow, addressed the students.
I, Adama Barrow, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, is happy to witness the Commonwealth again as the past years. What is Commonwealth? It refers to the British International Association of 56 member states, meaning 56 countries international. Examples of these are Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Gabon, Cameroon, and Kenya. And finally, the smiling coast of Africa, with its official name, the Gambia. As the theme for this year is Together We Thrive, all these 56 countries will work together and make a brighter future, inshallah.
Rabiatu Kamara, a student of Model Lower Basic, explains the main purpose of the Commonwealth.
The purpose of the Commonwealth Day is to promote peace, prosperity, and to serve the needs of its member government and their citizens in economic, political, and social development, of which the Gambia is a member.
Daniel Gomez is the principal of St. John Baptist.
The reason of the Commonwealth here is to make sure that you people understand the reason why Commonwealth is organized, that you are all human beings, you are all students, and definitely you all have to treat each other and accept each other despite coming from different schools, despite coming from different religion, coming from different tribes, but we come together as human beings and accept each other to embrace each other.
Commonwealth Day is held annually on the second Monday of March. Various schools across the country take part in activities in commemorating the day. Demba Waiba, QTV News.
Well, this is all we have for you in this edition of the News Bulletin. Do join us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Weekend Review with Momodou Mboj and Usman Jata. Thank you for watching.